Okay, so like I said before the Zoom, um, today we're going to be reviewing how to find slope-intercept form from a graph, and then we're going to be doing, we're going to find a couple of slope-intercept forms from a table. Okay, so it should be really quick. The top two should be a review, and then really pay attention on the bottom one with the tables because that's kind of new stuff. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start with this review question. So we want to find the slope-intercept form of this graph, okay? So to do that, we want it in the form, like eventually we want our equation in the form y equals mx plus b, okay? We want all of our equations from now on to be in this type of form. So to do that, if you remember from yesterday, we need to find the m and the b, which is the slope and the y-intercept, okay? We know how to find both of those things from a graph. We just have to kind of remember. So to find the slope from a graph, we're going to use rise over run, okay? So I'll remember to use rise over run, we need 2 points. So I'm going to use this point right here and this point right here. All right. So to do rise over run, we go down 1, 2. So since I went down, that's minus 2. And I'm going to go to the right one, so that's over 1. So my slope is, hold on, I wrote that too big. So my slope is going to be minus 2. All right, we can reduce that to minus 2. My y-intercept is where my line crosses the y-axis. And if I look at this graph, it crosses right up here at the number 2. So my slope is negative 2. My y-intercept is 2. Now we just need to put it together in this equation. So my equation would be y equals, instead of mx, I'm going to use my new m, which is negative 2. So negative 2x plus my b, which is 2. And that's it. That's the equation of this graph. Okay, pretty easy. Now let's slide over to the next example. So if y'all look at this first one, right, this graph was kind of easy, right? I gave you numbers, everything was labeled, I even gave you points, okay? On this one, the second review question, I don't give you anything, right? You kind of have to count and look at all this stuff on your own. And that's not a problem, like we can do that. So again, we want our equation to be in y equals mx plus b, right? That's what we want. So again, we need the slope and the y-intercept, okay? So to find the slope, 2 points. So I'll use this one and this one, okay? And again, we're going to do rise over run. So my rise from here to here, up 1, so positive 1. My run is, 1, 2. So you count 2 lines, 1 over 2. So my slope is 1/2. Easy. My y-intercept, where my blue line crosses the y-axis, that is right here. Because remember, the y-axis goes up and down. So we count down 2 lines. So that means my y-intercept is negative 2. So my slope, my m is 1/2. My b or y-intercept is negative 2. So now I put it into my slope-intercept form, and I get y equals 1/2 x minus 2. And there we go. All right, moving on. So this now we're getting into the tables, okay? So it is very similar to the graph. It's just the only thing that's different is basically this what we're looking for. So let's start here. Let's use blue. So we still want our equation in y equals mx plus b, okay? That's what we still want. So to do that, I need to find the slope, right, and the y-intercept, okay? But now, looking at the table, we find slope by doing change of y over change of x, okay? So if you remember how we do that here, we just kind of pick a couple points. So I'm going to use the bottom two because they're the most positives. So from negative 1 to 2, the change of y is plus 3, right? Because I go up 3. So I'm going to put a little 3 down here. My change of x, remember, since I use these two, I need to use these two. So my change of x from 0 to 1 is a positive 1. So I get 3 over 1, which reduces to plain old 3. Okay? Now, my y-intercept, now what we're looking for is hopefully you remember, but when I see my y-intercept on the table, that is when my x value is 0. So looking at this table, my x value is 0, right here. Here's my x's. my x value is 0 right here. So that means my y is -1. So I write a little -1 here, and then we put it all together. So my equation would be y equals 3x, there we go, minus 1. And we're done, right? It's very similar to the graphs. We're just looking at different things now, right? We're finding slope a little differently, and the y-intercept's a little different. But we put it together all the same way, okay? Let's slide to number 3. We're going to skip 2 for now. So number 3, let's use red. So number 3, okay, same thing. We want our equation in y equals mx, oh, that was weird, plus b, okay? So again, we use the slope. So change of y over change of x. I'm going to use the bottom ones again. So from -3 to 0, right? I'm going from a negative number to 0. So I'm going to be adding 3, okay? On the other side, from 1 to 4, I'm also adding 3, okay? So the change of y is 3. The change of x is 3. So that means my slope is 3 over 3, which reduces to 1, okay? Now, with my y-intercept, remember, we're looking for when my x is 0, okay? We're not just looking for any random 0 because there's 2 here, right? But I want to know when my x is 0, okay? And my x is 0 right here. So my y-intercept is right here. It's this -4, okay? Not +4. That's how they try to trick you. It's this -4 because it's when my x is 0, okay? So now we put it all together. So I start with y equals, okay? And then my slope is 1, so 1x, right? But do we put 1? No, it's imaginary. We usually don't put that. So we can just leave it as x. So 1 equals x minus 4. Boom, there's the equation, okay? Last one, and this is the trickier one. So make sure you pay attention to this one. So here we go. So same thing, I want y equals mx plus b, okay? So find the slope, change of y over change of x. Here, I have a bunch of positives, so I can do any one I want. I'll do the middle one. So from 7 to 9, well, I'm just adding 2. From 2 to 3, well, I'm just adding 1. So my slope is 2 over 1, or just 2. Easy. Now, this is the tricky part. So my y-intercept, remember, we've been looking for when the x is 0, right? But if I look at this table, if I look at my x's, I don't have any 0, okay? So what we need to do here is we need to find it, okay? So looking at these x values, right? The 0 would be up here, okay? Because it would be before the 1, okay? It wouldn't be after, because after is like 5, 6, 7, 8. It would be before the 1. So I need to add a space above the 1, okay? We're going to add onto this table. So if I am going backwards, right? So from 4, 3, 2, 1, the x value that would come before would be 0. Sorry. It would be 0, right? And that's what we want. We want the 0 in the x value, okay? But now we need to figure out the y. So here, if I look at my y's, from 11 to 9, I'm subtracting 2. From 9 to 7, subtracting 2. I'm subtracting 2 again. So from 5 to this spot, I need to subtract 2. So 5 minus 2 gives me 3. So that tells me that my y-intercept is 3, okay? You're not going to have a lot of these, but you just need to kind of be aware that you might not always be given the y-intercept, okay? Sometimes we need to find it, and this is how we find it, right? I told you a couple of weeks ago that eventually we'd be doing this. Here we are, okay? So now we just put it together. Y equals, my slope is 2, so 2x plus 3, my y-intercept. And boom, we're done, okay? So that is it. So if y'all need to take a screenshot of this, go ahead. There it is. But yeah, so try the assignment for today. I should have explained everything before I left, and that's it. So I'll see y'all tomorrow in our normal Zoom.